What's going on, Packers fans? It is episode four. It's episode four of This is the Bay. Jack Brennan, Timothy Lindsay, Rasul Douglas behind me. Uh, Again, I wish I had your background. I don't know how to do it. But
I'll make you whatever you want to.
okay. All right. Let's just
After this.
yeah. But this is the, first few episodes we've talked about, off-season questions. We talked about the draft. Now begins the OTAs phase for the Packers. The last few weeks, they've had.
Let me interject.
Yeah.
We get into a lot of detail, but there's a lot of detail we don't cover.
Mm-hmm.
My guy over here,
this
guy.
Yeah. Whatever, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He writes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just write for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Lombardi Ave, baby.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out more content, check him out. All his
Fan-sided. Yeah, it's fan-sided, owns Lombardi Avenue, but it's a great Packers website. It's fans all over who just write about the team, and it's really great content. There are tons of great articles, and if you are just looking to learn the basics about what's going on, or even in-depth stuff, just follow along. It's a great great place to follow for sure.
All right, OTAs.
All right,
What do we got?
Number one, A-Rod's back. A-Rod's back. Usually in the past few years, he hasn't shown up. Or that's not the right. Shouldn't say that because that's my guy. Not like that. Like he has his own off-season program. He works out in California, then comes for training camp. He's here, and he wanted to get some time in with the younger receivers, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Samori Toure. And just other, Sammy Watkins, new player this year.
There's no point with him hanging out with other quarterbacks because, he smashed it on the golf course.
Yeah.
All right, quick shout out. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Do you have any, are you, what's your jacked up?
Sammy Watkins, I want to see the connection. You're listening in the league, Tyreek Hill is talking about how, from an accuracy standpoint, Tua is so much more accurate than Mahomes. I don't really believe it. You got Devontae, Loveday, Derek Carr's a great guy, but equal talent, I don't agree.
Yeah.
So, of course, Sammy Watkins is going to talk good about Aaron Rodgers, most talented quarterback that he's ever played with. You and I both agree that's very obvious that best QB. Of course it is.
Yeah,
but I'd love to see the dynamic in action.
And
see them kind of just working together. I'd love to see what's the aura of the Lizard King right now. He's got to be sky high.
He posted on Instagram after he signed his deal, let's bring the Lombardi home. He's fired up to be back. I'm interested to see Sammy Watkins or Lazard. If the Packers don't go get a Julio Jones or an Odell Beckham, well, Odell wouldn't, be running for this anyway. But number one targets. Who's going to be the number one guy? And I know the Packers are going to do this. They're going to do this by a committee. They're not going to force feed one receiver like they've done, which was great. They were very successful and it was awesome to watch. But if they go into this season trying to force feed one guy, by the time it's January, the Niners are going to meet the Niners again or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're going to see, okay, Allen Lazard has 100 catches. They're going to throw it to Allen Lazard this time around. Whereas, I saw this tweet a couple hours ago about Packers social media. There's a chance the Packers might not have a 1,000-yard receiver. They might have 3 or 4 guys with 700 yards, 800 yards, which is fine. That's not I don't mind that at all. Because it'll be lots of different guys, a variety. Who knows? Maybe we're sitting here, NFC Championship game, late January. Aaron Rodgers hits Amari Rodgers in overtime for the game-winning touchdown. You never know. It's right. That's what I think is so great about it. I would love it if we got one more, veteran guy or traded for a Terry McLaurin just away from the team, or a DK Metcalf. Those are long shots. Those are unlikely, but. I like Lazard and Watkins, and then you have Cobb, the veteran, and some exciting rookies. So I'm happy to see Aaron back there and see some business.
Rodgers to Rodgers is a dangerous connection, and I think any Lions fan can tell you that. Enough said.
Moving on. All right. So this was seen at OTAs, mandatory OTAs, even I think voluntary OTAs. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon were both there on the field together with the number ones practicing, which that is a dangerous, dangerous duo. Because Aaron Jones, I believe, was second on the team in receiving last year, and AJ Dillon led the Packers in rushing, 800 and something yards. Aaron Jones, I think, is going to be a big focal point in the receiving game this year, and AJ Dillon, ground and pound. But what are your impressions of that? Like, I mean, that's got to be pretty scary. Have those guys in the same field.
I mean, I think it would be scary, and you also wouldn't know where the ball would go. AJ Dillon's catching ability has continued to improve. So while you may assume it's going to Jonesy, maybe flip it outside to him, just a little like dink pass, whatever. Quadzilla's on the other side, and he's fully capable of doing the same thing. So I think it could be an opportunity to pull defenders up.
Yeah.
I think it could do well in the regular season, but again, much like Devontae Adams, tough to cover. It just takes one defense to figure out something that works. And again, I don't mean to be greedy, but the way I always look at the game plans is how are we going to do it through the whole postseason and get to that Super Bowl. So right. I don't want to see them on the field all the time together I just don't want them to get worn out. It's a long season. But I could totally see circumstances where they are, and I wouldn't know where the ball's going.
Yeah. I mean, that would be it would be sick. And also I think, last two times we've lost in the playoffs, lost to Tampa, who we played in the regular season, who obviously whooped us, but then we played them again and they still got us. And then the Niners, who, one of the greatest games the Packers have ever won in San Francisco. Right. And then we play them again. This time they make some plays at the end and get us, which, I still have a dagger in my heart from that. But it's like the last two losses, we've played those teams in the regular season. So there's a familiarity there. What if we were to meet like last year, had the Cowboys beaten the Niners, like we would have played the Cowboys and we didn't play them in the regular season. So what if we were to play a team? I just think that's another interesting thing. Like, what if we play a team like, I don't know, like I don't have the schedule in front of me, but like, let's say we play, Carolina, who makes the playoffs or something, and we don't, I don't know. I think it's interesting, like a certain team, but you're right. Health being worn out, that's a big factor. AJ Dillon got hurt against the Niners because he was playing on special teams, and that was a tough pill to swallow. But it's just such a dangerous aspect. Like no one knows where the ball is going. That's why I think this offense is going to be really dangerous. Come regular season, come playoff time, and we're going to see. But that
O-line is phenomenal. We don't need to get into it, but I'm
deep.
Thrilled about that O-line. There was a PFF thing that we were in the top 5 for O-lines. I like your questions. So switching to defense.
Yeah.
Quay Walker going over Devondre Campbell as a starter. I don't see it right away.
Well, not Walker starting over Devondre. I mean like Walker over Barnes, like that kind of thing. Like they're starting. I didn't word the question the best way, but like
I also didn't read it right, so you're good. I'm just so nervous.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, dude. I guess it just depends how he plays. I mean, Barnes, he's earned it at this point, but again, new season, you got to earn it again. And if he's gonna come lay in the lumber, I mean, he hits well, but Walker might. He has a good chance to get in there too.
Chris Barnes. So, I try to like look for the positives, like, set a career high in tackles last year, pass breakups. Had a nice sack on Joe Burrow, had that big boomstick hit on, I think it was Jerick McKinnon in the Chiefs game at the pylon. Like, so he had some moments. I mean, this will be his third year. It'll be his third year in Green Bay. And, we were kind of looking when we drafted Chris Barnes, we're kind of looking for, I think we drafted him, we go undrafted. I can't remember, but we were looking for guys to step in, when we drafted Kamal Martin in the 5th round, but we cut him last year. We're looking for guys to step in at linebacker. We get Campbell, we hit the mark there. But now we get like a different kind of mother load, and like,
Yeah.
a linebacker from Georgia, like Kirby Smart, the head coach of Georgia, knows defenses better than anyone in college football. I mean, he is a great defensive coach. Well, I guess Nick Saban's a pretty good defensive coach too. But like Kirby Smart is a great coach. Georgia, number one defense in the country last year. You can make the case Quay Walker was maybe the best player on that defense. He led them in tackles in the national championship game. He had a faster 3-cone drill. And there was another test that I can't remember the name of it, but he tested quicker than Eric Stokes, his former team, now teammate. Eric Stokes is one of the fastest players in the game. He has 4.2 speed, ridiculous. So we might be looking at Quay Walker could very well be the fastest sideline to sideline linebacker in the game, and no one really knows about him, or no one really, like, because he's a rookie. No one's, everyone's looking at Campbell and Darius Leonard and some of these other great linebackers. This kid's a stud, and he was starting at number one, or he was starting with the number ones on defense at OTAs ahead of Chris Barnes, which I'm okay with that right away. But it's important, just because Chris Barnes gets replaced, if that is to happen, not a bad thing at all. Like, he's going into his third year, still a young player, but he's played a lot of big snaps for us over the last few seasons, and he started in big games. So that's a much better place than we were in a few years ago, when I think it was Blake Martinez was not a bad linebacker. He was a tackling machine. But after that, like, Oren Burks hadn't really gotten anything going. Our depth wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 starters and then 1 great, backup, if that is the case. And guys like Ty Summers, Isaiah McDuffie, behind them, that'll be some good competition. That's how it always is. Like, worst case scenario, they're going to compete, and that'll make them better. So we're in better shape because of it, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's also the game. There's some players that can be on the guy, but you got different squads, different rotations. You can't rely on just one player to play all the time. It's just either they get hurt or it's just too fatiguing.
Yeah.
So I think the flexibility in all aspects of our defense right now, it's not.
Yeah, we might. And then one more thing as we go on to the next question, but Tariq Carter, we drafted in the 7th round of Georgia Tech. Guy was safety. He's like 6'2", 240 or something, or 6'3", but he plays both linebacker and safety. And, he could be a special teams piece too, but like a hybrid guy like that who can range around. There was a player a few years back by the name of Dayon Buchanan. I don't know if you remember that name, but he was a guy in Arizona who played both linebacker and safety for Bruce Arians when he was out there. Maybe Carpenter could be a certain guy like that, where he could play multiple positions. Maybe he could, help spell, Barnes, or, if we want to rest like multiple guys at once, or if we want to bring in a package of guys. I think
like how we used Micah Hyde.
What's that?
How we used Micah Hyde when we had him.
Yeah.
Josh Jones was supposed to be his replacement.
I missed that. He was a great. I think he was a great, like, talented player, but it's just he never could hit it. Josh Jones.
Right.
Where is he's in Dallas, right? Or where is he?
I think so.
He was in Jacksonville, and then he went to, maybe he's still. I don't know.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Oh no! Now he's Seahawks.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's we've he was a good piece, and just didn't hit. But hey, that's all right. We have our DBs now. Speaking of DBs, I'll just staying on defense.
Yeah.
Slot cornerback. That was kind of a little bit of a conversation in OTAs between some of the reporters and obviously more importantly, like, the coaches and players on the field. We have probably the best cornerback trio in the game, in my opinion. I don't think that's really much of a debate. Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, Eric Stokes. You have 2 cornerbacks on the outside, covering the 2 primary receivers. Then you have one more guy. It's called the nickel cornerback or the why am I thinking slot cornerback. I don't know why I just forgot about that. But which one of those guys do you feel comfortable with starting in the nickel? And in other words, like that's the fast position. Like you want to cover like guys like Randall Cobb, Edelman, Wes Welker, kind of smaller but quicker guys. Who do you feel most comfortable with starting in that spot?
So I mean, actually be an interesting question for Matt. Like the profile of who it is, like I mean, I'd be curious. Like Stokes is fast. Jair, I feel comfortable anywhere, but how does that affect the overall defense if he in and isn't on the outside?
Yeah. Douglas played there. Douglas played there most of the year. I think he started in slot most of the year.
I think Douglas did, I think he did well.
Yeah, a lot of pick sixes.
He might be the natural guy to do it.
He is not. I'm not sure of his speed. Maybe a 4.3, 4.4 guy. I can't remember. His instincts are incredible. I mean, what he did last year coming in for Joe Barry, he's not like, it's not like he's got lightning quick, he's not Eric Stokes necessarily, but just reading the eyes of the quarterback, reading the feet. I mean, I know you're not supposed to stare at the guy's feet. That's not bad. That's not good technique. But like understanding routes and where the guy's going and kind of like jumping the route. I mean, that play, I know Justin Fields is a rookie, but against the Bears, I mean, he totally jumped that route on Sunday Night Football and went to the house on that one pick six. And then, I mean, just even simple, but not even like in the slot, but Arizona, AJ Green, like didn't turn his head around. Rasul Douglas makes the play. And I still can't get over that game, that Thursday night game.
Yeah.
He's a big time player for sure. So I guess there's not really a wrong answer. I feel like Joe Barry might go with Rasul only because he played there last year and is comfortable doing it. But, I mean, there's not really a wrong answer. Jair is the most experienced Packers cornerback between of those three, like playing for the Packers. I know Rasul Douglas has been in the league longer. But, Stokes is super fat. Like they all have their own strengths. So
it's also important. And I mean, I didn't like it for the season, but the fact that last year Stokes had to be the guy because Jair barely played.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that experience will carry over in a positive way of confidence.
That's what I've been saying. I think like I wrote an article about Eric Stokes having the perfect rookie season last year. Not because he was some crazy like a Pro Bowl or anything like that, but like I think against Arizona, he got burned by DeAndre Hopkins maybe a couple times. In Minnesota, I think Justin Jefferson kind of got him for the game-winning touchdown. Like he had some rough moments, but then again, I think he was 5th in the NFL in, I want to say, opponent quarterback passer rating allowed. First as a rookie in pass breakups. I mean, he was just on it. So he took his lumps, but he responded, and I think that's great. And he has the speed and the talent. So I love that. And that's a great problem to have. Next topic. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, I just real quick though.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, and I guess we didn't talk about it, but I was looking to the side a bunch because I was like, kind of going to make the comment of maybe would they play Kevin King in Cyber, and he's gone.
He is. He's a free agent, has not been signed by anyone, and people have brought that up. Like, you want to bring him back on like another 1-year deal. It would be interesting. I mean, I guess no one's really supposedly no one has really shown up. Not the right word. More like no one has really emerged behind those three guys. Like Charles, Shamar John Charles had.
I like him.
Yeah, I mean, people have been hoping that he's going to step up. He might be more of a special teamer right now with those three guys there. So
great effort. Kabion Ento.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, Keyshawn Nixon. That's the other guy. The Packers signed him. I think they signed him from Vegas, or they traded for him, and they brought him, I think, because Bisaccia. Oh, he's in. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Bisaccia, again, Vegas, that connection. I think they wanted him because of the special teams. I think Bisaccia saw that, but also this guy, has been in the league for a couple of years, has some experience. He can, provide some help there too. So that could be another veteran. So we'll see. But again, it's a great problem to have. The Packers have a great DB room. We're not going to get into the safety. We know how good they are. But moving on, let's switch.
Talking about Kylan Hill.
Yeah. What? Kylan Hill? You see Kylan Hill?
Yeah. I mean, it was Kylan Hill. Could he really play a role, possibly in the return game? I think talking about the return game.
Yeah.
Because we did not pick anybody up. Jakeem Grant. Yeah, I know he wasn't available, but like.
Went to Cleveland.
Yeah. A guy like that, I thought Hill, when he did returned pretty well. I also thought, he creates a three-headed monster in the backfield. He played really well.
Mm-hmm. He was great.
We did get another running back this year, though, too, right? I'm drawing a blank on.
So, well, so we did not this year. We did not draft one. We got Tyler Goodson from Iowa.
Yeah.
Who people like, and who's a great player for them, and also Patrick Taylor, who stepped in at the third running back down the stretch when Kylan Hill was out to do the ACL. He played pretty well, at least in reserve time. But I think that's kick return. Kick return is interesting because, again, Kylan Hill blew out his knee on a kick return in Arizona in October. So who knows when he'll be ready? Could be earlier in the season, could be mid-season. Who knows?
Right.
Christian Watt. Okay, so I guess we'll kind of merge the punt return conversation here too. Randall Cobb, Romeo Doubs, and Amari Rodgers were the three guys that were taking the most snaps at punt return. And you have Randall Cobb for experience. Doubs did return, I believe, a couple kicks back in college for touchdowns. Amari Rodgers was the predominant punt returner last year for the Packers. Could you see one of those guys on kick return while Kylan Hill is out? Amari Rodgers was also kind of part of the kick return game.
If he runs confidently, he wasn't doing it last year.
Yeah, rookie, nervous. I think he had a couple fumbles. I know Cobb, I actually think Cobb only had one punt return last year. I think he fumbled. It was against the Rams, actually.
Yeah.
I believe that's the stat. And then Christian Watson, I didn't see any Christian Watson. I didn't see him returning punts or anything. I didn't hear any reports of that. But again, he size. Okay, so he's 6'4". I don't know how much that plays into a role on special teams. But dude, his athletic. He's 6'4", but has 4.3 speed. That's what's so unique about his skill set for just the receivers. But he can take a 75-yard, or he can take a jet sweep 75 yards to the house. You put him on special teams, kick returning, punt returning. I mean, he had a couple big time returns in college for North Dakota State. He's an all-around player, great athlete. Rodgers and Cobb, I don't think have the speed to make an explosive play on special teams. I think Cobb is going to be 32. I think we need to keep him healthy for the slot. And then Doubs, I think, he plays, you'll appreciate this. He kind of plays like an Alshon Jeffrey type. At least he runs like it, sort of.
Yep. He
plays bigger than he is. He's 6'2", but he looks like he's bigger than the defender. It just feels that way. He plays like it. So special teams, if I'm going to give an inside track to someone, I feel like Bisaccia might give the punt return game to Randall Cobb just because of his experience. Not because of necessarily him flipping the field. I just think he's been around the block a few times. And then kick return. Yeah. Kick return, they might try. I'm going to say Doubs. I'm going to say they put Romeo Doubs. I was going to say Christian Watson, but I feel like they might want to keep him healthy and ready to go for the receiving game.
And it depends his transition in the NFL, because you look at the still return stuff, but it's a lot, and special teams, what I'm most excited about, isn't going to be an afterthought. And I'm not talking negatively on any of the coaches of the past, but it's its own thing. and guys need to be designated to be doing that and be ready for it. It's not just like, cool, you're the rookie, it's your turn.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. 100% right.
This is like,
I
this is the day, baby.
Yeah. I posted a video like on our Instagram page of like returns over the years, like from like Randall Cobb returning that kick against the Saints, Will Blackman against the Vikings on Monday Night Football in like 2008.
Right.
Vikings. Micah Hyde had a couple, and then Desmond Howard in the Super Bowl.
Desmond Howard, yeah.
Yeah, so we have had moments before, and it's been a long time since we've had some great magical play happen. Trevor Davis, yeah, Cleveland, in that weird game where Brett Hundley played for Rodgers and they ended up winning overtime. So you never know when things can turn the tide. But that's going to be interesting to see as the OTAs kind of roll on. We get into training camp, who's going to get those snaps where. The final piece of conversation topics is the kicking game. Mason Crosby is the kicker. There is no kicking competition in Green Bay whatsoever. That's the reason we're talking about this and not why I'm rambling on about this. So the Packers cut Dominic Eberle, who was kind of not the competitor, but like he was the guy that was kind of pushing Crosby sort of behind him. They need an extra leg, that kind of in OTAs. So they just cut him. And it's funny, they actually claimed Gabe Burkich from Minnesota, who was kicking for them. They cut him. And this guy he was a decorated college kicker at Oklahoma, I believe. This guy is not going to replace Mason Crosby. No one knows how to kick better at Lambeau Field than Mason Crosby. All right, that's not, I don't know what you on that, but I just, no one's replacing Mason Crosby. That would be a very shocking move.
No, I completely agree. And he's got the experience and he's been through good seasons and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been able to recover from it. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You go one game to the next and you miss 5 field goals in one game and you've got to kick again.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I'm sure it was frustrating, but his season didn't just skyrocket downhill. So I always feel good having Mason there. And I hope it doesn't have to come down to, but it might come down to games where he's the deciding factor. Who knows?
When was the last time we saw Mason Crosby miss a big kick? Like 3 seconds left on the clock. We've seen his game, Detroit a few years back. I think 20 year.
I'm wondering about the name.
What was the year? Like 2013 or 2015? He had like a bad. I think he missed like 10 or 12 kicks. It was not a great year. Last year was.
Yeah.
That was due to the holder. That was due to Bajorquez not preparing for not being the best cold weather holder.
That's part of it.
Pat O'Donnell. Pat O'Donnell.
A couple of those kicks, yeah, laces were facing him. But Dallas, when we had Jared Cook, went to Jared, Mason drills it. Let's go.
San Francisco. Last season, unbelievable. That was like, I was like punching like the people who my brothers watching the game. Like I was like, what? I was just like so jacked up. People are afraid to watch. Like, oh, he's gonna miss his kick and it's gonna be horrible. I'm like, he's gonna stand here. He's gonna drill this kick. And, he has that classic low-hanging drive that allows him to get 4 yards, and he boots it through. He's had some rough seasons before, or like rough games, but he always responds. Like the game against Detroit in 2018 when he missed 4 or 5 kicks, comes back, goes 3 for 3, and hits the game winner against the Niners on Monday Night Football. He always responds. That's who he is as a player, and he's a great teammate. Him and Aaron. It's been him and Aaron. They're the 2 oldest Packers players on the team. He's kind of that last. I know Vinatieri retired. I know Robbie Gold's still kicking, but I'm trying to think of some guys like Crosby's kind of that last. He's one of the last few guys from this kind of old era of kicking that are still there.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be when they hoist up the Lombardi Trophy after this season. That might be the last time we see Mason Crosby kick. Like I do think this might be the point of okay, we win this Super Bowl. Like if we win it now, I think they move on from Crosby. I think they're going to push this if they can get there. like these next 1-2 years. I think they're gonna could be it. But they're gonna keep giving this guy, you know, keep giving him years.
His shot if he wants it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Just again, a reminder, I can't get enough. Look for this guy writing online.
Lombardi Avenue.
Timothy.
It's on all over Twitter. Check Twitter. Check Google. Whatever. How about wait? What's the to close this? What's the line from Blades of Glory when they're like in the press conference and the reporter is asking him and asking Chaz and Jimmy about if he's asking them about like a riff or like something, two guys skating together, and Will Ferrell's like, "Oh, that's funny, Mr. Smart Reporter. Find out how to read the Google on the internet." Well, guess what? Chaz Michaels and Jimmy McElroy are skating. Boom. That's the great way to go out. Just Will Ferrell, Blades of Glory. Nothing better. Should we just end it on that?
I think so, brother.
This is the Bay.
This is the Bay.
Till then.